Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3. In the last episode we went through Kremwood Forest, and in this episode we're going to visit Blunder's booth, and this is actually where I discovered about how absolutely wrong I was at the end of the last episode. So Blunder here, well, he's actually not for, just getting to the next world. Instead, he talks about this mysterious world. Yes, that's right, the Lost World. You remember the Lost World from Donkey Kong Country 2, right? Well, this game also has it here. Only, it's actually not by this, not by a Clubus Kiosk, of course. It's actually just from him himself. But we'll talk more about that towards the end, though. So anyway, here's a correction that I need to make for myself here. So this patch that we just got from after defeating Erich, that's actually for Funky, because this is actually one of those upgrades that that Funky will do for you. So what he's gonna do is that he's gonna give us basically a new vehicle for us here. Basically an upgraded motorboat. Or actually just some several ones. Yeah, this here is a hovercraft, and so the hovercraft is, it's definitely an upgraded hoverboat. So, for one thing, not only is it faster, but it also lets you skim over the rocks here, because, previously they were blocking us here. But yeah, we actually have more areas open for us here in the overworld. So we're gonna go ahead back over, and then we're gonna get free another one of those banana birds. So yeah, that's actually something that I discovered though, and I was very much wrong on this right here. I thought it actually had some kind of thing. I mean, well, technically the that patch actually does allow us to explore more areas though, so it actually does open up for that. So that was partially correct at the very least though, but I got the whole context wrong and all that though. So yeah, you gotta bear with me on this one, guys. I can only remember so much about this game though, because I've already mentioned that I don't really have very much experience in this game, and so I've only played through it once, and then I kind of forgot what it was here. So anyway, so this is our next area, Cotton-Top Cove, and so it's mostly the water one. Oh, well, this guy seems a little depressing. This here is I think it just says his name's Blue. Yeah, it's supposed to be Blue. I mean, obviously for the color, for all this right here. As you can see, well, he's depressed. Yeah, he's literally Eeyore in this game here, because well, I guess not a lot of people seem to pay attention to him though, which is depressing and all that. But yeah, here's our next area for the banana birds. So yeah, like I said, folks, I have very little experience with this game, and so and because of the fact that I only played through it once, so just for the sake of practice, that was only like recently though, just not too long ago, and so because of that, yeah, I can only remember so much of what there is in this game here. So I mean, just bear with me on this one, folks. Please do. Anyway, so yeah, so now we're gonna be starting Cotton-Top Cove, and so so basically what the whole thing is, well, it's another one of those water areas, and yeah, we're back to doing this this underwater level with all the well, just this whole under the lake stuff. I guess kind of a return to how it was in a DKC1. Well, I mean, technically there were like water sections, but in DKC2. But that was all just for that was all just inside of a ship or anything like that though. So nothing like natural or any natural scenery here, but this kind of does feel like a return to those kind of water levels from back in DKC1. Only it doesn't really have the same kind of vibe as the other ones. Well, mainly because of aquatic ambience, because I fucking love that track though. It's an entirely different track, and I mean it's still ambient and all that, and I still like it, but doesn't really have the same kind of vibe as I had with aquatic ambience. And I know it does sound like a bias and all that though, but But anyway, so just like with the water levels and all the other games, yeah, you're completely defenseless underwater, so you can't really attack against these enemies that are going to be swimming across you, like those barracuda enemies and those sea urchins, and also, well, I actually didn't mention those those other fish. They're called cocos. Let's see. Well, we'll probably see another one though, but you'll probably know what I'm talking about if we just come across one. Which, okay, we just go past more of these barracuda enemies though, but. Yeah, like I said, yeah, you're defenseless underwater. But of course, they're still on guard. So yeah, a lot of the water levels will still have on guard. Oh yeah, these guys, yeah, those are the cocos, and well, as you can see here, they're clownfish. Yeah, literal clownfish. I mean, not like the regular kind of clownfish that you see here. That kind of would probably still play the stereotype and all that, but they're just like the basic fish enemies and all that though. So I mean, nothing about it, and you just get killed by touching them. So with these kind of underwater sections, yeah, this is actually one of those things where I always have to just hug these walls then just to see if there's like any kind of a hidden area, because because of the bonus barrel, or those bonus barrels that I'm looking for though, because when I record this, I would just have to hug those walls and think that there's going to be well, there is one over there though, But I always have to go around and make sure, just check every nook and cranny, see if there's any bonus bonus barrels here, because that's what I want to do for the sake of a completion run. All right, so it even has Bash the Baddies here. So what are we gonna do? Well, you know, like I said, this is where On Guard comes to play. So any kind of underwater section that that would actually you know, just has you just kill some bugs. Well, you know, that's where On Guard provides for us, because that's your only way of that's the only means of defending yourself is just by On Guard, because, you know, well, at least he can attack. But he does play, you know, well, very much the same as he did in DKC2. Well, I mean, you know, this kind of movement in DKC1, but, you know, the same as in the second game, where, you know, he has his own attack, has a charge attack, and of course, you know, he automatically pokes at the enemies with his sword nose as soon as he gets close to them. So there's that at least. But I think they also had this one thing. I'm not sure if it was a thing at DKC2, but they also had this one thing where, you know, you can actually just go on top of the enemies while you're using the sword nose attack, and so they can actually still be killed that way, though. So that's nice here. Oh, this is a big dude right here. I don't know what he ever does. I actually just swim past him, though. But he actually does seem to have the same kind of stripes in the coloration as regular clownfish. So, and there's at least those big puppy lips here. So one interesting thing about these underworld levels is that they always have these they always have this little cave area at the very end, and the reason for that, though, well, that's only because, you know, because of these coins. So yeah, that's actually the only reason why we have these kind of cave areas at the end of the underwater levels here. Because if we're going like all underwater, then like what about those DK emblems for you know, for the coins? Because, you know, can't really attack anything. Well, that's actually the reason why they just had to add this little cave area at the very end, just for the sake of you getting bashing those coins and getting the DK emblems afterwards. So yeah, that's literally the only reason. That's just all they'll have right here. So basically, as a little last kind of thing that they would add for that kind of level here too. So that's just all there is, though. But that's also another new method I also use, which is having to go on top of the that DK emblem shield that he was using, or just using that as a shield, and then just toss the barrel over, so that way there you can actually just, you know, be vulnerable enough to actually be hit by that the steel barrel. Alright, so this new level we have here, so this one's kind of interesting, but also a bit confusing at the same time, where we have all these waterfalls that they'll see not just for backdrops, but also kind of affect you know, how you explore them. So you'll just be going in front of those waterfalls, but once you actually go these upper ledges and those ramps, like this one right here, then you actually end up going behind the waterfall. So, you know, it kind of looks so interesting, and, you know, kind of seemed to be well done and all that, though. And yeah, don't forget that bonus barrel. That's just on the left here. They can see those where those bugs are stationed. But at the same time, it can also be pretty confusing, though, because it's kind of hard to tell whether or not you're going to be going like in front of or behind that waterfall for explorations, though. But I mean, it's a nice little visual detail that they would do here, and, you know, just well done and all that. But, you know, but it can be a little confusing sometimes, and you just kind of like had to figure out exactly where you're going to be going, because one minute you think you're going to be going in front of the waterfall, but the next minute that you're just going over, and then you just go behind it. So so yeah, it can be a little bit confusing in that regard, though. But I guess you just have to make out, you know, just to see those ledges that are going behind there, and then that's how you actually get to behind the waterfall. So there's that at the very least. It's too bad there's no actual secrets behind the waterfall, like you know, a lot of the other 3D platforms would do, right? And oh, hey, it's you, Perry, again. I sort of forgot about you there, and well, I mean, maybe you should have I got some kind of a nice use right there, and other. Oh, god damn it. Okay, well, I guess that didn't last long. Okay, yeah, never mind. I guess I take it all back, though. You served your purpose very early on in this kind of session here, so yeah, good job. Not. Ugh. I know, I might say I'm like kind of bashing the new animal bodies and all that, though, but I mean, like, you know, because like Perry is without doubt probably the most useless one as well. Oh yeah, these guys are here are the would be the macho Kremlings for this here. They're called Crumples is what they are. So the Crumples, if you actually jump on top of them, well, I mean, as Dixie at the very least, then they, you know, they just kind of go for this. I mean, they don't really get like enraged per se like the Crunches in the second game, but they kind of do this one pose where they just kind of like you know, just you know, just move their hand backwards. They're like, they're gonna do this, kind of like, come at me, bro, kind of fashion. But that's kind of hard to beat them. You can actually toss some barrels, or you can also have Kitty Kong to actually just you know, jump on top of them. Because yeah, I'm not even kidding, folks. Because remember, despite Kitty being at least 3 years of age, or just being a toddler, he has like a massive ton of strength there. You know, just some good genetic coding. So therefore, he can actually be able to just jump on, or just, you know, bash those Macho Kremlings just by jumping on them. So that's very easy. You know, he's basically like some kind of a younger version of Donkey Kong himself, where you know with all the strength to match. So that's actually what it is here. But you know, he's actually able to jump a little higher though, and just, you know, and be able to toss some barrels with good ease here, too. You know, just very much like, well, I would say, you know, since Dixie has kind of the same throwing range as DK himself, or you know, at the very least, Kitty actually has the same kind of throwing range as Diddy, so. But, you know, I've actually, I've actually mentioned this in DKC2, and, you know, probably one of the most unpopular opinions that I ever have to say here, because, you know, I know everybody was saying that, you know, Diddy is actually the much better option. Between, you know, in DKC1, where, you know, because Diddy was so popular, and, you know, between having to play as him and DK, you know, they always play as Diddy the most because of how agile he is, you know, and I agree on that one, though, because, you know, he's a lot faster. He can also jump higher, too. That being said, though, and when I was just about getting into, for one of the most unpopular opinions I could ever say, though, I've always preferred playing as DK himself when playing, when playing Donkey Kong Country, and the reason for that though is because, well, I actually find him easier to handle with you know, having to kill most of the mooks, like either the clumps or the Crushas, because you know, he can be able to take them down one hit though, and so I guess that's probably the thing about me though, is that I always like something with a lot more attack power, and so that's what DK handles a lot, is, you know, just his raw strength alone. So yeah, because of that, that's why I've always preferred playing as him over Diddy though, because of that. I mean, I always admire Diddy's speed and all that, and how flexible he is, though. But he can only kill the enemies just by tossing barrels at them. He can't exactly kill them one hit, though. So I mean, because of that, though, then yeah, that's why I've always preferred playing as DK, because you know it's always a one and done kind of thing with him, bashing the enemies, though. So you know, again, it sounds controversial and all that, though, and you know, definitely, you know, and just definitely makes me feel like as the odd man out. But you know, that's just me, of course. So. Anyway, so the thing about this level here is that, well, these guys are here. These are called class. They're, well, basically these barrel enemies. They're supposed to be the replacement cobbles. You know, those barrel Kremlings. Only this time, you know, well, I mean, they play just like the same though. Only this time that they're actually able to hold on to the ropes and just go back and forth and all that though. But you want to be careful with them too, because, well, for one thing, they actually look very creepy considering they're like creepy looking smiles though. But you can see that because of the TNT markings on them, then yeah, they will explode if you touch them though. So yeah, you want to be careful. But their placement feels very tight too. So that's another thing about those, because you know, you really want to be careful as you go along, trying to just, you know, try to avoid them, of course, as you just go along the ropes, because like, you know, that's what you'll be doing a lot of times, just going along the ropes, and then you'll just see them going back and forth, and because of how tight they are. So that does seem a lot more risky too. Another thing you want to watch out for is this guy right here. I forgot the name of this piranha enemy down here, though. Or actually, no, I was trying to think, but then I still can't remember though. But you want to watch out for him too, because once you go in the water, he will eat you alive. So yeah, just be careful. Then look how smug he looks too. Like, you know, he looks so smug, just like, oh yeah, you know I'm about to fuck your shit up there, don't you know? Oh yeah, yeah. I don't like that smug smile there. That's just ugh. Now, this one kind of seems a little tricky, too, because, you know, well, it's mainly because, you know, I was playing as Kitty at that time because I just lost Dixie. But, yeah, you have to get a little good distance, and yeah, I was kind of going the wrong way there. I was like, oh, wait, no, wrong way, you have to get the goalpost, because you already got everything there, dude. Alright, so, there's also one more game for Swinky Sideshow that we had to, that we're going to be doing here. So, the third one that we have here, this one, yeah, that one's probably, like, the most troublesome we have here, so, so as here, yeah, the last one is called Endurance, and so what it is, well, I never got to know much about what Endurance does, though, because, and you'll actually see in just a minute here, as for why, I probably won't get to talk about it very much here. Well, I mean, for one thing, it's called Endurance Run, so, yeah, same as usual, just hit the targets here. But guess what, folks? I didn't win this one. Wanna know why? Because, well, just cranking one right then and there, though. And so, unfortunately, I am unable to explain exactly what it's for, and what this game is for as well, because Cranky already beat my ass to it, you fucking asshole, and just rubbing it in my face and all that there. Yeah, this is actually what goes to show that, you know, since Cranky's not playing the role of giving out advice like he used to do, now he's just, you know, just being a competitor in these kind of carnival games here, and so, because he's just there to just rub your victory on, or rub his victory on your face, and so, I just like, ugh. Ah, man, I'm going to beat you someday there. Just you wait. Alright, so this one here, the tracker barrel. So the tracker barrels here, that's actually a new kind of barrel that we're doing right here. So what it is, you're gonna be saying this one barrel, but once he actually blasts out of there, then you actually just be able to use the control pad to move the barrels. That way, there you can actually be able to just go right back to the barrel itself, though. So that's actually one thing that that you wouldn't have to worry about much, though, is that just having to see where the barrel goes, because Because whenever the barrel moves, or whenever you move the barrel, then you're always going to be shot back over to, or just landing right back over to where the Kong will be going back over the barrel, though. So you're always just guaranteed to just be right back in the barrel itself, though, as you move it along here. So, so that's actually, definitely one of the safer kind of barrels here, too. The thing about it is, though, is that once it's actually just, back over to, like, as far as it can ever go, then you have to be in control of the Kongs. Once it's able to move over to the other end, then you actually be able to have the Kongs go back over to that barrel itself, though. So that's actually, just where those come into play here. And yeah, that was just about it here. I gotta say, though, this backdrop really, it's all brown and all that, though, and, it kind of looks a little dull, I would say that much, though, but, I mean, they always go for, like, some different colorations for some certain backgrounds in some levels as well. Like, some can be ranging from, like, just plain, or some of them, like, in that one of the levels in Kremwood Forest, or Kremwood Woods, where where it actually looks absolutely just gorgeous, like the sunset one. And so, yeah, we're back to playing as Ellie here, and so, what you can also do is, like, since I already mentioned about, with her being able to suck up the water from the bodies of water themselves, though. It's actually not just that, though. She can also do the same with waterfalls as well. So that's actually cool, of course, just be able to suck with the water from the waterfalls directly. So that's actually kind of a neat one way. And so you can also do the same thing, like, when she's able to go into these, go to the striker barrels. You can actually just be able to just shoot the water out, or score the water out as projectiles against those buzzes. They're just standing in your way. So that's cool at the very least. Sometimes I forget to do that, though, because I keep thinking of those buzzes that actually just serve as obstacles, and you can't really, just very much like the almost indestructible red ones, where you just have to avoid them. But then I realized, oh, wait, they're the green ones. They're more vulnerable, so I can actually just be able to shoot them off. So I would sometimes forget to do that, though, and so because of that, then, I just kind of like it, just take a little while, though. But that's just why I remember, just shoot them down, and then just, just move on. But anyway, so I'm trying to think about what there is to talk about, because, well, I mean, yeah, see, this is actually where, you can just see where I was kind of taking a while for all these shots here, so. Anyway, so what is there that we want to talk about? Let's see here. I mean, well, trying to think. Well, I mean, just to kind of talk about, what's going on in my life, of course. Well, one thing, I'm actually trying to look for a new job, so maybe that's probably one of the reasons why my videos might be going a little bit slow with them up with those, because, well, I mean, for one thing, for the fact that I would just have to, do these recordings, and so these recordings that take a long time because of the fact that, I had to, well, I literally had to look up guides to see where the bonus areas are, for the sake of having to do a 100% completion for this game here, because, I just don't know much about those. So I had to look at those guides, and, I had to, of course, for one thing, because, I got shit to do, and so, I got the next game coming up, that we'll be doing a Let's Play of. That's, it's going to be a long one. It's going to be the last of the marathon, which I'm sure you guys will know what I'm talking about. And, I will say that much, though. It's going to be a long one, and probably going to be a nightmare to do, because guess what, folks? I will be doing 100% completion of that game, though, so hope you guys are ready for that. But, oh yeah, Fish Food Frenzy. So, there's something to talk about right here. But actually, just so talk about my life here. But, yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I was, sometimes I would be going a bit slow here, is because, because I was trying to look for, I'm actually trying to look for a new job that would help me to get more hours, though, because my current one sucks, and, they've been cutting down my hours a lot, and so it's, not helping me with paying the bills and all that, and it's actually just making me just on the verge of going bankrupt, too, and that's just bad here. That goes to show how bad that job is, because of how the hours are, and so they, well, they lied to me about it, too, so I've been trying to focus on just looking for a new job here, so that's actually what I'm doing here. So, anyway, back to the game itself here. So, the gimmick for this level right here, we have this guy right here, damn it, I forgot his name here. But he's actually one of the more interesting ones here. He's basically supposed to serve as quote unquote animal buddy. But there's actually a catch to them here, though. So, what it is that you can actually see that he's going to be following you all over in this level here. And, what it is here is that you actually have to feed him the fish. And so, the color will change depending on his mood. So, if you actually see him at the most here where you can actually see him as blue, then he's actually happy here. And so, he's actually the most docile and absolutely friendly, where, he just, he'll just keep on following you around. He'll actually gradually change to a different color here. So once he actually changes to purple, as you can see here, then he kind of starts to get a little sad. And so that's when he'll go ahead and eat the fish here. So what you have to do though is that you want to make sure to have him eat the cocos here. Make sure it's actually the cocos, so that way he can actually be able to change back to the blue color. You want to make sure not to have him eat those urchins here, because the urchins are the negative ones. If he eats the urchin, then they actually just negates the kind of moon, and so that actually just causes it to go downhill, and so that's what we want to be careful with. So those it's kind of a timed event here, where just have to make sure to eat as much of the cocos as you ever can, though, so that way he can actually just stay in the good mood here. And then once in the purple, then he kind of starts to get sad, and then once he gets in the light shade of pink, then his teeth will start to grow, and that actually goes to show that you want to hurry and just find the next coco, so that way things will get worse, though. Now, once it actually changes over to the red one, like those default enemies that we see here, that's when he gets to his most aggressive, and so that's when he'll go in and just straight up fucking eat you right then and there. So that's when he turns more vicious, and then he'll just go in to eat you right then and there. And then he actually turns back to the, I gotta see the light shade of pink here, so he starts to grow teeth, and so that's when he starts to kind of start to lose his mind right here, so that's what you want to do, just keep on eating the cocos, that way he'll just keep his sanity right here, so with the blue color, so that's actually the whole thing here. So just make sure you eat just the cocos, but yeah, sometimes you'll just accidentally, because he automatically eats those other mooks, so sometimes you'll accidentally eat those urchins instead, though, so that's what you watch out for, is just try not to have him just eat the urchins, because it actually just negates his mood, so that's actually the whole thing about it here, though. And there's a lot of them everywhere too, so that's also another thing, another negative we have going on here, though. And another thing about it, though, is that there's also that one urchin enemy that's just up there that, just going up. But yeah, that's where that one bonus barrel is here, so yeah, we're gonna have to go up there anyway. Alright, so for this one, since we have that, that fish enemy with us right here, then you just have him to eat all the cocos, and that's just the whole gist of bashing the enemies here, though. So it gets a little tricky too, because you have to go around and just look for them as well, because because of how far apart they are pretty much. So yeah, it's just all there is to it. So yeah, not much else to say about that here, but yeah, like I said, it's kind of a one of those timed events where you can just have to hurry and just eat as much of those enemies as you ever could, though. So yeah, that's all there is to it. But I think we're just about at the end of the level here. So yeah, there it is. So you have to go onwards, and yeah, just stage or just stay by here. So and one of those cave areas where we just find those coins. Now, this one I had a bit of trouble with, though. It's a little tricky because you want to play as Kitty and then toss Dixie upwards, though, because he has a much better throwing range when it comes to that. But I was having a bit of trouble, though, because because of the way the ledge was, and so I was kind of just accidentally I was trying to inch my way over, but then I accidentally fell off into the water. So yeah, that was kind of troublesome in that regard. Alright, so all that done and over with, though, so, I'm actually kind of glad we just, I would actually say and see, that way there I can, see the, completion, the exclamation mark. Alright, Squirt Showdown, so now it's boss time, and so, this here is Squirt, and, well, he's, kind of eerie looking for one thing, and just, kind of some kind of a snail rock face or something like that kind of looks like a snail. But he's kind of like a background boss is what it is here, so basically what Squirt does is that, well, for one thing, you're going to be playing as Ellie throughout the whole thing. So yeah, as soon as the fight starts, then you'll just be playing as Ellie. And so what you have to do is you have to have her to suck the water from the waterfall with her trunk. And so the way he attacks is that he's going to be squirting out those water guys, well, kind of like the sprinklers. Well, just sprinkles of water that are coming out of his mouth. And then it doesn't really hurt you per se though, but it actually does push you back against it. And so sometimes it could be risky for you to actually just get pushed back against from those platforms, and then you fall to your death. And so what he's gonna do is he's gonna show off his ice hawks from the waterfall itself. And so that's where you have to go ahead and squirt the water out to the eyes, and then you have to do it on both the ice hawks as well. So once they completely close, and that's how he takes damage. It's a little tricky to do both at once though, so because of that, that's why I had to go from each of the opposite areas to squirt both those on both those ice stalks, or both the eyeballs itself though. So that's actually all with the bosses that comes into play. So kind of one of the more boring ones I would say though, but you still want to be careful with having to with those platforms, and especially just having to avoid those avoid the way the kind of he sprinkles out the water here. So that's all there is here. And with all that said and done, then we have this I think it looks like a crowbar or something like that though. I don't know, it kind of looks like a crowbar, but yeah, that's all that's said and done. So that was it for Squirt, and yeah, that was it. So that's just all there was. Kind of like boring in a way though. So, but now all that's done and over with. And so now we have the next area, Meccano. So it's one of those factory levels, and it's actually where we get to see things that are kind of like a little more focused on what's going on here for the in terms of the plot here. Well, not so much of it though, but we'll see in a sec. So, anyways, next time Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3, we're going to be going to our next area in Meccanos. So until then, I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.